Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul, and in this RedGamingTech video, I'm joined by
Amy here, hello.
and we're going to be doing a breakdown and our thoughts of the Microsoft, Bethesda, and Devolver conferences. We're going to be focusing on the highs and the lows and what we kind of expected versus reality. And also today from me, there will be a video focusing on what Phil Spencer actually was possibly referring to when he said next Xbox consoles. And no, I didn't misspeak there. Consoles, and he actually confirmed that. So plural when talking about the next consoles.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. So I guess first thing we'll go through is, from your perspective, I guess almost out of 10, what did you think of Microsoft, and what did you think of Bethesda, and what did you think of Devolver?
Well, for Microsoft, I'm going to go with a solid, say 6 to 7 out of 10, whereas Bethesda was more like an 8 or a 9.
And Devolver?
Devolver, I mean, they didn't actually announce a whole lot, but yeah. It was entertaining, which is exactly what I expected.
Okay. Microsoft, I'm going to give an 8.5, but with a caveat, which I'll describe as I'm going. Possibly even a 9, but with a caveat.
Right.
And the caveat's really important. I'll get to that when we're talking about
Okay.
Microsoft. Bethesda, Fallout 76, I'm sorry, and I'm going to probably get downvotes, but it looks crap. I'm sorry. I just don't like the look of it at all.
Controversial opinions.
Yeah. Online Fallout is just not something I'm interested in.
Yeah, I will admit, when he's like, yeah, it's online, I'm just like...
I'm going to reserve complete judgment until I play it, but it really worries me because they're talking about you can play it co-op. You can play it solo, but they advise you to play it co-op. And something like that with a persistent world, I know me, and I know the way I enjoy games like that, and it's the reason I can't play Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online.
Right.
Now, if it's something like World of Warcraft, I can do that because I never got into the Warcraft lore before World of Warcraft.
Right.
So to me, that's fine.
Yeah, I understand.
But something like, it's the same reason as I can't enjoy Knights of the Old Republic, or the Old Republic online. I just can't do it because to me it's like a single player game.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean.
So for me, Fallout, I'm sure people are going to love it, and that's great, and I'm happy for them. But for me, no.
Yeah.
But with everything said, super hyped about Skyrim, super hyped about everything else. So I'm going to give Bethesda probably about an 8 or a 9 as well. Okay. And I don't know enough about Devolver to give it any... I was like,
well,
okay.
The only thing they really announced that you might care about is Metal Wolf Chaos, which I was
look
pretty
quite
excited
fun
about. But to be honest with you, you don't watch Devolver's conference to get game reveals. You watch them to do some amazing satire of the games industry, which...
Alright, so I guess the first thing we should start out with was Microsoft.
And, got some notes written down.
Okay, so
let's see.
I'm going to give my first impressions of Microsoft, and then we'll kind of delve into it.
Sure.
So and this is the reason that I'm saying I'm going to give them 8 or a 9 with a caveat.
Okay.
So if you're talking about exclusives and what was unveiled now for the Xbox One X and Xbox One,
right,
I'd give them a 5 or a 6. But the reason I'm going to give him an 8 or a 9 is because I actually feel that they're addressing the issues, and it's clear. I think they're holding on to some announcements. I got that feeling because there were some rumours that we were going to see some games that just weren't there, and some of their studios were conspicuously absent.
Yeah.
So there's that. Also, the fact that Phil's already working on the next generation, and we kind of knew they were, but their comments made it sound like they know that they've screwed up this generation. They know that their lead is insurmountable, like Sony's lead's insurmountable. But what they do know is that perhaps the next generation's still in for play. So my personal feelings are that they're going to just keep Xbox fans happy, and I think there's a lot for Xbox fans. I mean, I was basically jumping up and down with glee when I saw Gears of War 5.
Yeah,
I was so hyped.
You could not contain this excitement to sell it.
I was so happy. And I think that Xbox fans are going to be really happy. The new Forza looks amazing. As I said, Gears of War. But I get the feeling that 5 new studios announced.
Yeah, I'm curious to see out of all those studios, what Ninja Theory do with AAA backing, because what they made with Hellblade on such a low budget is amazing. So
they were basically doing it with like paper and string and like prayers.
Then with some proper money behind them, I really want to see what they're going to do with that. So I guess we should just talk specifically about the games themselves.
Okay, so shall we start out with Halo?
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing that exists. That's basically all we know.
Now, my feeling, and I could be wrong, and I hope I am, but my feeling is that Halo is not meant for the Xbox One.
Right.
The ambiguity and the lack of stuff that we saw, it makes it seem like at the earliest we're going to see this thing is 2019, but I think it might be a new Xbox launch game.
Yeah, well, we didn't get even a slice of anything, just here's Master Chief.
Yeah,
yay,
it's basically like so it's either going to be like one of the fanfares to say goodbye to this generation, or to me it's going to be like,
I mean, it might be both, to be fair, if they're backwards compatibility or
it's possible. Well, they've said that it is
multiplayer. Yeah,
they've confirmed that the next generation is backwards compatible.
Oh, okay.
I'll get to that later though.
Oh, okay.
In a video specific for that, because otherwise I don't want to eat up all of this video.
Stay tuned. So yeah, we know basically nothing, but what we did see that we do know is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and I'd make fun of him for his level of hype for Gears, but with Sekiro I was just there like...
There's two reasons I was there's two things. First of all, the gameplay looked really fun.
It did. It looked so good.
The second thing is, just like Kingdom Hearts, I was shocked it was debuting at Microsoft conference. And that's the other thing. From what Phil said, and the whispers in the wind, Microsoft are pushing to get Japanese developers on board with the Xbox. Now, from what I'm hearing, Phil and the Xbox teams know, look, the Xbox, unless we basically buy Sony, unless we buy Squaresoft, unless we buy, Capcom, unless they buy Konami. Oh, by the way, they can. I'm just saying, like, Konami's valued at like $3.5 billion. It's nothing.
Yeah, then Microsoft's got that right around the back pocket. Like, oh yeah, I think I've got that.
This is very off topic, but I'm super surprised when Capcom were at their weakest. So pretty much all the time recently, but when Capcom were at their weakest, I'm surprised Microsoft did not pounce. Like, even if you wanted to just say we're going to fire everyone in the company and we're just going to take your IPs, which I wouldn't have advised, but I'm saying if they had of, I'm shocked. Like, the established franchises they had there, Microsoft had so much capital, and Capcom were worth so little money. I mean, they were in the negative for so long. You could have bought, even if they had not bought the company lock, stock and barrel, and they'd have just put in and bought 30 or 40 or 50% of the company, I'm shocked they didn't do that. But that's beside the point.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the look of Shadows Die Twice. It looks really similar to Nioh or Neo, however the hell you say it.
I was thinking that.
But it looks really good. Obviously, we did see some blocking, so it looked like kind of halfway between Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, basically, in terms of the speed.
Combat.
It looked fast, but it wasn't as fast as Bloodborne. From what we saw, we saw like a snippet, basically, so it's hard to say. But it looks really, really good. Anything that From Software, From Software just released, cookie making simulator, would probably buy it.
You died.
So, you set the oven to 1 degree too high, therefore the house exploded and you died.
Yeah, you got salmonella in your cookie, you die.
Yeah. So that was really cool. We also saw Fallout 76, but
we've described that already.
We've already really talked. We already know that was a thing that exists, and we've talked about it. So Crackdown 3. It's not really for me. It's hard for me to talk about it because it's not. I've never been a franchise that I've been interested in. But
here's the thing. For me, Crackdown is not something I'm interested in. But with that said, that's just because I don't like those type of games. Like, I like the original Saints Row, for example, but when it started to get sillier, my interest just waned.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel the same for Crackdown. Like, to me, Infamous, for example, hits the perfect nail between like silly and action. So I'm not saying that Crackdown looks bad. It just isn't my type of game. But I have to confess, when I saw the cars driving up the buildings,
I know when they were doing that, I was just like, okay.
The graphics look definitely like they've been polished. They've polished them.
Yes.
They definitely look like they've worked on animation some. They definitely look like they've added a lot of extra gameplay. Like, for example, when his car just morphed into a tank.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say that it looks like it's a labour of love, and therefore, I think it looks a really cool game. It's just not something I personally would play.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, Metro definitely is your thing.
Oh my lord! For those of you who don't know, and I'm pretty sure most of you do at this point on the channel, I'm a real sucker for atmospheric / survival type of games, and I don't necessarily like games like, let's say, I don't know, Amnesia, The Dark Descent, but I really like Metro and games that kind of drip story. And the thing about Metro that I really like is it doesn't feel like you're exploring a world that just exists. Right. It feels like you're exploring a world that has existed before you launch that game.
Right.
It feels like you're exploring, like, as you're going and you find, the remnants of who had been alive like 5 minutes ago, or perhaps had been dead 30 years. And you're going through, old buses of remains, and you're exploring dark tunnels and everything. It just and the narration, I think Metro looks incredible, and I really love Metro 2033. And as a slight aside, it was one of the first games I played with an Nvidia card that supported physics.
Really?
Yep. And it was that and Batman Arkham. Yeah, it was Arkham Asylum. And I was like, holy crap, debris move. Holy crap, interactive smoke physics. Holy crap. Yeah, that kind of turned me on a bit too much. I won't lie.
Yeah, I mean, I will admit, Metro did look really good. Looked very, very beautiful in terms of its graphics.
It did.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that. Another thing I was surprised to see was Kingdom Hearts 3, because obviously it's been very traditional to be at Sony's conference.
How good did that look?
It looks so good. Like, again, the hype was out of control, and the end of the trailer where Aqua turns around, she's got the weird. I'm just like, immediately I was just like, ah!
What got me as well is Elsa from Frozen seemed like she was a really big part of the story.
Yeah, it seemed like at least when she, in her, she might be playing a bit more of an integral role.
Yeah, something like, basically there was like the argument going on of whether, I don't want to give too much details away in case you've not seen the trailer, but there was the argument going on about whether she's going to turn to the light.
Yeah, or the dark. Yeah, so I'm really hyped for that, and obviously we did recently get a release date for that. It's
February,
delayed,
right?
But let's face it, it was.
Was it February?
January 29th.
Okay.
But everyone can say, "Oh, it's a shame it's delayed," but I'm like, let's be real though. If it was ever coming out this year, it would have been like November, December, so an extra month. I'm not really fussed.
I'm okay with it being delayed. Like, there's so much stuff coming out this year.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's actually good because, like, Nier came out early last year.
Oh yeah, we heard about that as well.
Nier's coming to Xbox. So yeah, Battlefield 5, not really my thing, so I have no comment.
It's got Battle Royale.
Yeah, I'm so done with Battle Royale.
I have to confess, the single player of Call of Duty and Battlefield are sometimes really fun, and I don't really play the online stuff, but I quite enjoy the single player of them. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, it's not really for me. It's not because it's bad. It's just not my thing at all. So,
Okay.
We saw Forza Horizon 4 again. It's not really a franchise I'm personally interested in because I'm just not into racing games that aren't Burnout. But I must say, I was very impressed by what they did show. Like, graphically, it looks stunning. I love the draw distance.
There's a couple of things. One, not my game. I used to be really into racing games back in like Gran Turismo days, but since then I was like, eh. Like, I used to be really into Sega Rally, Daytona USA. Then I moved on to Gran Turismo, and then I just kind of got burnt out, and I just didn't play. But that was actually unintentional, but it was great. Anyway, this is the wonder that is my personality.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah, after that, I just kind of figured, yeah, it looks great. I'm incredibly impressed with the love and care that these guys are giving to the game, and I just imagine that you're going to be able to expand and create and just watch this universe grow, because obviously they're not just going to be like, well, this area is X amount of square kilometers, we're just going to keep it like that. They're obviously going to continue to expand it, and the fact that it's playable in different seasons. I mean, when I was doing the hovercraft racing, and then the bike did like a flip in midair, I was like, holy crap. This game, yeah. I know people who are literally going to live in this game.
Yeah. And I will say, I like the fact that it was all kind of just seamless. You know, all the other drivers are other players. I thought that's really cool, actually. I really like that idea.
Let's go close the door in case the cat comes in.
Yes. I probably want to know, what are you doing in there? Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though it's not for me at all, I was still very impressed with what they showed for Forza, and it was nice for them not to just basically bring a car onto stage like, look at this amazing car. Like they've been doing that for the last couple of years. And I'm like, are we doing that again, Microsoft? No, okay, good.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Forza. I think 60 FPS, it looks amazing.
Yes.
I mean the team there know what they're doing. It's that simple.
Yeah,
really.
pretty much. Speaking of teams. As we've already said, they bought a bunch of people. So
they
they've
did.
got a new studio called The Initiative, Undead Labs.
I heard The Initiative are the ones who are working on Fable.
I see.
And I'm pretty sure Phil said that they're working on open world experience or something like that, but he remained cagey. And I get the feeling that because there were rumours that they were going to show Fable and they were going to show Perfect Dark, but they didn't. Now, that to me tells me that they're either A, not confident in the product, B, I'm not saying it is these, it could be one or it could be multiple, it could be zero. One, they didn't exist. Two, they weren't confident yet because they didn't want to just show a bunch of trailers. Or three, they didn't want to just show games that are going to be 20 years into the future.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want to be like 2020 kind of release.
I mean, they've already got Gears they did that with.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, they've bought Undead Labs, Playground Games as well, who are apparently making a new IP, so that's going to be interesting to see. Ninja Theory we've already talked about. And Compulsion Games, who, of course, are doing We Happy Few. So, they are... While they didn't have much exclusive to show this time, they have made it very clear that they are investing a lot into the future itself. And Phil made that very clear. Like, we are investing hard into the future, 5 new studios purchased, new IPs in the works, and I'm like, okay... You have my interest.
For me, there was a couple of things with that. One, the way he came across on stage, it did seem like he was not done with the acquisitions. It seemed like they were still negotiating.
Yeah.
And I know I keep belaboring this point, but what people forget is Microsoft are a huge company. And until now, they were not necessarily taking gaming as a full project. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they were just doing it for fun, but recently the heads of Microsoft, so I mean like the entire company, have gone on record and said that they're now fully embracing gaming and they're ramping up the money that is going into gaming. So Phil is getting more power, he's getting more capital. Now, the reason, this is my personal opinion, the reason that Sony and Nintendo, maybe less so Nintendo, the reason Sony should be a little nervous is because, yes, the PlayStation is doing well against the Xbox. I'm not going to dispute that. And I love PlayStation as well. I've got a PlayStation 4 Pro, and I love the PlayStation. I love PC gaming. I've got a Switch. I love gaming.
Yeah.
But the reason I feel that Sony should be nervous isn't for this generation. Microsoft have so much disposable cash.
Very true.
They said... Not only are they putting all of their investment into these studios, their studios have essentially access to unlimited funds. I mean, they're making... Just look at Microsoft's revenue on the cloud alone, how many billions they are making. And you just think to yourself, oh, Lord.
Yeah, they're not messing around.
And the last thing as well, they also said that all of their studios now have access to all of the talent of Microsoft, and that means as well machine learning for games development, machine learning and artificial intelligence. They're actually leveraging their own IP to create artificial intelligence for games. It's going to be an amazing time.
Yeah, they did end things out with saying they're working on the Microsoft AI for games, so that's interesting. Going back to the games, so we saw The Division 2, set in Washington.
That looks quite fun.
It does look fun, actually. And obviously, The Division, the original one, didn't launch strong, but they came back with the survival mode and they really brought their game back to life. So I'm really hoping that they've taken everything that they learned with the first one on board and just make sure they don't repeat it again with The Division 2. But it did look really good. Yeah, God, don't even. But Shadow of the Tomb Raider, we saw that as well.
Easily one of the games I'm most looking forward to this year.
I'm
easily.
Very, very much looking forward to that, and
I need it inside of me.
yeah, basically. And speaking of I need it inside of me, we also saw Devil May Cry 5, which I was again surprised to see not at Sony's conference.
Yeah, you know, I loved when he came to the stage. It was like, English is hard, you go.
Yeah, he tried his best, and it was like, English is hard, you go, and I'm just like, fair enough.
And then after a while, he started to speak in Japanese, and the guy had to translate for him.
Yeah, but so what do we actually see in DMC5? Well, we saw Nero, and we saw Dante very, very briefly.
And his hair looked a lot longer.
Yeah, so it's
it's
not. I thought it was new Dante at first, but it's not. It's Nero, so we're all good.
That devil arm, I was like, bionic. They look really cool.
Yeah, I must say. Excuse me. I must say, it looked really good, really, really fun. I mean, I didn't hate DMC as I've said before, but you know, new Dante.
Yeah, I kind of guessed when it was actually Capcom that were doing it.
Yeah,
because they
sourced out DMC, didn't they?
Yeah, so, the reason I was pretty sure they were going to go with, you know, the original guys is because they want the sales figures to be as high as possible, and they know that the new Dante is probably going to adversely affect the sales figures.
Yeah, so I think just showing, hey, look, it's got Nero, it's got Dante, you know, this is DMC 5, this is not the new canon, this is DMC 5, and I'm like, great, sign me up. So, we also saw something by the name of Jump Force, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, basically, Kamehameha versus Rasengan versus God knows what else.
But what caught my eye is right before the trailer actually finished, you saw Light and Ryuk standing on top of a tall building, and I'm just like, how is Light going to work in a like a fighting game?
Unless it's going to be like a duo sort of thing, so you're actually controlling my Ryuk.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. And we saw Battletoads as well, which I thought was very, very cool.
Well, saw is a strong term.
Well, we know it exists.
Was it just me, or did that actually say Xbox Game Pass?
Pretty sure it said Xbox Game Pass for Battletoads, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Just Cause 4.
Yeah, I actually really disliked Just Cause.
A lot of people did, to be fair. A lot of people did. So, you know.
Yeah. Because I remember, for those who don't know, I actually got to this point where I was playing the Just Cause 3 when we were doing graphics comparison for it. I was like, Amy, if you don't do this, I'm probably going to throw the discs out of the window pretty much.
You weren't a fan of Just Cause 3, and you know, it wasn't bad, but I don't know, it just...
weren't a fan, I was actually getting quite angry.
Yeah, you were not happy. We saw Dying Light 2, I mean, Dying Light is not a game I've ever really played,
that looks so good.
It does actually look really good, and what I thought was interesting, I mean... Developers, especially at E3, they love to say that your choices actually mean stuff and all this stuff. They love to say this every year. They say
but that actually looked like
however,
it did.
It does look like it actually does affect things because there's like quests with meaningful choices. So choices that will actually have an impact.
Yeah, the example of the water tower.
Yeah.
Like if you give it to the protectors, they'll protect you if you agree with them.
Yeah, basically. So you got a choice to, you know, do you want to give the water to everybody? Do you want to sell it on the black market? You know, and obviously the choice that you make, because it's water, is going to have a large effect on everybody.
Now, the question I've got with that is, if I'm selling it on the black market, do I get a cut of the profits?
The important question.
Yeah.
Right, so...
I want that damn XP.
They trolled us hard with Gears Pop. I just want to say...
I knew that they were doing
that. When the Gears symbol appeared on the screen and then, like, the pop burst through the wall, I was just like... What?
The Gears Tactics looks awesome.
Yeah, Gears Tactics. I'm actually
and it's a PC. Microsoft, thank you. You've seen XCOM is actually successful, and you realise that, you know, that actually makes me think, holy crap! A company can see that this formula works that other people are selling. Gee, let's actually use that.
Yeah, I mean, EA could learn a thing or two. Let's just leave it like that.
Yeah.
And of course, they ended things out with Gears 5, which I know you are very excited about. Well, actually, no, they didn't end things out with Gears 5.
Yeah.
But Gears 5 was one of the last things they showed, so go ahead.
It's happiness.
It's happiness, he says.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really play the online Gears, right? I don't play Gears online, like competitively. Actually, that's kind of a lie. When I bought an Xbox 360 on launch, because I got the arcade version, the core, because I literally could not buy the premium one. And then one of my friends, Stuart, bought a premium Xbox like 4 days later and made me want to like dragon punch him because he managed to get one because they were basically like gold dust.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, so I paid like £209 I think for mine, which wasn't bad considering.
No.
Anyway, I bought that plus Perfect Dark and some other games, and this is a very funny story.
Okay.
So I got Xbox Live working on my house like instantly, right? No problem. But Stuart had this really messed up internet thing. Basically, it was a USB modem only. It was an ADSL USB modem, and the software that you had to install on your computer was pretty proprietary. So when you were trying to load it with Xbox, like you couldn't just do a network bridge. It literally kept on messing up. So I was like, okay, how the hell do you do this? I was like, oh, never mind. There's a guide online, like from their official thing, and it was like, I was like, okay, can you like, because I was on like one side because he had like two screens, so I was reading one thing because he had a laptop and a computer. Right. So I was trying to configure it on his computer, obviously plugging the Xbox into the Ethernet cable at the back of the PC.
Right.
And he was trying to read it on that. So he was like, okay, I'm going to start out with the guide. All right. So it tells you need an Xbox. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you need to get your Xbox. Okay, so now you need to plug in the power to the Xbox. I was like, Stuart.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was literally that level of the guide. I was like, Stuart, I appreciate you're being sarcastic right now, but I possibly will strangle you at this point. So anyway, that was how I first started. So Gears was actually the first game that he and I started to play. But I've got a huge love affair for the Gears story, and I'm really curious. Actually, I've got an idea, but I don't want to spoil it, on who Kate was really upset died. And I have a feeling who it is, but I don't want to say it in case it spoils it. But it looked amazing, and I love the fact you're actually playing as Kate, because I think it could be a very different story with the locust pendant that she's got. It makes me wonder what they're changing with the story, and those enemies. I mean, it looks so amazing graphically.
It did genuinely. It looked really good. Yeah.
And I was like. Yeah, that game just looks so awesome. The draw distance, the graphics, the combat, it just looks amazing.
Yeah, but then
CD Projekt. Did you want to take over this? I love how it was like CD hacks.
I know. Like it came on like they were hacking the conference and stuff, and then like, and I was just like, oh, are they doing it? And then obviously when the username was read, I was like, they're doing it.
Yeah, because it actually said something like, I think it was like Cyberpunk _E3 demo Cyberpunk _E3 trailer something inish.
And then they played it and it showed no gameplay, which I was a bit like, okay, but I will say I was still really really hyped by what I saw. Like just give it to me, give it all to me, please. Honestly it looks so promising. And there was actually a hidden message in that trailer, like just before it actually started. There was like a long message from CD Projekt themselves, basically just saying like, thanks for bearing with us. I know we've been quiet on this, no release date yet because we're not ready to say, but we'll have gameplay for you soon, basically is what they said. Just essentially TLDR essentially. But despite the fact there was no gameplay, I was still really excited the fact that they showed it, because we literally haven't seen anything from Cyberpunk, so I was very, very happy that they showed that. And that was what a way to end the conference. Like, I was extremely excited.
Yeah, that was like an exclamation mark.
I know, when it was like, oh, thanks for watching E3, and then it just like kind of went weird, and I was just like...
Yeah, I gotta say that.
Yeah, I was ridiculously hyped for that. I'm not gonna lie.
So here's my overall thoughts on the Xbox conference. I was disappointed we didn't see games like Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
But I get the feeling that they're trying to essentially prepare for the next generation.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a lot of exclusives, but they still had a really strong conference, and they're showing investing for the future, all of that. Bethesda as well, while I wasn't interested in Elder Scrolls Online and all that sort of thing, like it still had a really strong showing. Like they got the new IP, of course.
What did you think of Doom?
Yeah, Doom looks really cool. Obviously, we saw literally zero gameplay, but it's a thing that it's coming out. Great, sign me up. Wolfenstein, the young blood. So looks like you play as his two daughters. So co-op.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm more than happy for them to.
To be honest, the thing about that is, I know some people are going to be upset that it's not BJ, but here's the thing: he was battered in every one of the games.
I was going to say, like, he's kind of. You have to call it at some point with him, I think, especially with like what they've put him through in all these games. So
yeah, it becomes to the point where it's more like torture.
Yeah, so I kind of like that they're giving it to them. I think that could be really cool.
So Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, I mean they announced it, but there's clearly it's not ready to be shown actually, because they showed basically nothing.
The graphics though did tell me it's probably going to be like not this generation.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see it next generation, because the fact they didn't show even a slightest hint of even like a gameplay trailer of clearly scripted trailer or anything, that we just saw nothing other than the fact that it exists. So Yeah,
Rage.
Rage 2, it looks good actually. It looks really fun.
Rage 2.
Yeah,
it looks like it fixes a lot of the issues with the original Rage.
Rage 1 was good, but it had a lot of problems, and it looks like that they have solved
that mega texturing.
Like, it looks really fun actually. I'm actually looking forward to that. And yeah, but the main highlight of Bethesda for me was Doom. So Bethesda was stronger just because obviously they have like less to worry about, I guess, if you know what I mean. But that's not to say Microsoft wasn't strong. I think I would give them a 7, Bethesda an 8, and of course we've got Ubisoft.
I will say the one thing we actually forgot about the Microsoft conference is the fact that they're doubling down on the Game Pass.
Oh yeah, Xbox Game Pass. Yeah, they
even Forza is coming to the Game Pass immediately.
Crackdown, I think they said was on it as well.
Forza, Crackdown, Gears of War, all coming to the Game Pass. Value proposition is incredible.
Game Pass is looking to be insanely good value. So I'm glad to see them really really pushing that. They showed some indie games which look cool. Tunic looked interesting.
Yeah, I've got to say that looked fun.
And I think it was called Sable or something like that.
Yeah, that looked really awesome.
That looked really cool. I was very interested in that. So, overall, much better conferences. To be fair, it's the same every year. EA come out and it's just kind of like... And then Microsoft come out like, but actually...
I can't believe how bad the EA conference was.
Yeah. Ugh.
I mean, you know how I thought, when I first saw them teasing Command & Conquer, I thought they're trolling us. And what they're going to do is they're going to show like this first. They're going to get people like, boo. And then they're actually going to show the real Command & Conquer. Like
obviously, no, that's just the game.
Like, here's the thing that pisses me off about Electronic Arts so much. They own the IPs of Bullfrog. They own I don't even need to tell you. But
now companies they've destroyed.
Seriously, why have you not done another Magic Carpet? Why have you not done another Populous? Why have you not done another Dungeon Keeper? Why are you not doing a new Command & Conquer? Imagine, just for a second. I want everyone to imagine this, right? Just use your imagination. You have a modern version of Magic Carpet online, so you can play co-op,
right,
or competitive or single player. It's up to you. The single player doesn't even need a really good story because you don't care because you're flying around on a bloody magic carpet lasering things. No one cares about story. You just need to laser things. You just need to create a volcano in someone's castle. Seriously, what are you doing? Just seriously, you just create a castle and you just watch them be all prideful because they've just created this castle. You create a lava field in front of it. There doesn't need to be a story there. You just create a volcano in front of a castle. There is nothing else to do. The volcano and the castle tell its own story. How can you not figure this out, Electronic Arts? Stop! Just stop! How can you not figure that is literally a license to print money? Do you have a crippling fear of money?
I was going to say they have a crippling fear. But don't worry, it's all about that sense of pride and accomplishment.
Serious? Yeah, but that's the thing. You would see the pride of self-accomplishment, and then you put a volcano in front of it, and then you create earthquakes and typhoons. How can they not realise that would be fun? Just imagine the amount of microtransactions because you could customise.
Don't give them ideas.
You could customise your carpet. You could customise your volcano so that pink dildos fly out instead of meteors. I don't care. Just do something.
All right. Okay. On that note, I think we should call the video. So yeah, we've got Ubisoft tonight.
Volcanoes.
Yes, volcanoes. We've got Ubisoft tonight and Sony late tonight for us. So we'll be back tomorrow.
You mentioned Ubisoft.
Huh?
You said Ubisoft.
Oh, yeah. So we'll be back tomorrow with some more E3 goodness. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Bye.